There's a significant question in the world of goal setting and personal accomplishment that I want to start with. The question is, what one magnificent thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? Now, that's a question worth thinking. If you were completely guaranteed success in any objective, big or small, short-term or long-term, if you could wave a magic wand, take a pill, and be guaranteed to succeed, what one goal would you set for yourself? When you ask yourself this question, often big aspirations spring to mind. You'd be rich, famous, or powerful. But when you dwell on this, you begin to realize that fear holds us back more than anything else. If you were completely promised success, you would be unstoppable, a force of nature. Imagine someone telling you that you are indestructible and that you can accomplish any objective you set for yourself. What would you do differently? When I started, I came from a poor family. My sentiments of shame and unworthiness didn't occur by chance. I grew up with a Catholic mother, and I lacked self-confidence and self-esteem. I was booted out of school multiple times for misbehaving, and I spent half of my time in the library after being pulled from classes. I dropped school in 12th grade, worked as a dishwasher, did hard labor, lived in my car, and dug ditches. I had really low self-esteem. Over time, I started investigating this issue, and I learned that your level of self-confidence, how much you trust in your capacity to accomplish something, really influences the overall quality of your life. I observed that there's a direct relationship between self-confidence and sales. If you think about selling, it involves bravery, guts, and the ability to take rejection. You have to face your concerns in order to get appointments and seek for orders. Self-confidence is crucial. It's vital in business as well. Starting a business, receiving a bank loan, attracting clients, recruiting people, all of these activities take self-confidence. What's even more surprising is that self-confidence has a crucial impact in our level of attraction to others. The more confident you are, the more magnetic you become. That's why performers and actresses who exude confidence frequently have this unmistakable appeal. Confidence doesn't just make us feel better. It empowers us and determines how others regard us. We produce more sales, earn more money, have better relationships, and become more productive socially. Self-confidence is everything. So I began learning ways to build my self-confidence when it was really low. Over the years, I noticed that 3 variables interfere with our self-confidence. The first is skepticism and anxiety. This is the greatest problem we face. Fear and uncertainty have pushed humankind back throughout history. Fear and doubt are impediments referenced in religious, philosophical, and psychological books, as they hold us back more than anything else. The second cause is feelings of guilt and unworthiness. These are universal experiences that influence many people. The third cause is sentiments of inferiority and undeservingness. It's astonishing how these feelings may affect us. Studies have revealed that some patients with AIDS live for years, while others pass away sooner. The key difference is frequently how they evaluate their own worth. Viktor Frankl, who escaped Nazi concentration camps, reportedly observed that as long as people believed in anything, they stayed alive. When they stopped believing, they simply gave up. We all hold these feelings. In truth, the fear of success is really just the fear of not feeling deserving. People who feel undeserving will work hard on the outside to obtain achievement, but then ruin themselves within. So, where do doubt and dread, guilt and unworthiness come from? Imagine if you had no doubt, no fear, and you felt wonderful about your ability to achieve anything. Think about how different your life would be. When you look at truly successful and happy people, you'll see that they reflect this confidence. No one begins out that way, though. I began studying success in sales, and it revolutionized my life. I understood that the law of cause and effect plays a big influence. This law states that for every result in your life, there is a cause. The cosmos runs by this law. If you know the impact you desire, you can trace it back to the activities that caused it. By doing the same things, you'll get the same consequences. The practice of cause and effect is the cornerstone of many areas: psychology, philosophy, religion, and more. One of the most crucial breakthroughs I've had is learning that thoughts are the cause. Conditions are consequences. This is a game changer, since many people incorrectly believe their circumstances are controlled by external sources. But the truth is, we control our thoughts, and our thoughts decide everything that occurs to us. In life, our thoughts dictate the quality of our lives, the quality of our relationships, our health, how long we live, how much money we earn, the home we live in, the friends we make, the social relationships we have, and our overall happiness and self-confidence. Thoughts are the causes, and situations or results follow. Over the past 5,000 years, a succession of mental rules have been found. In fact, long before the time of Christ, there were mystery schools. These institutions were where individuals withdrew to study for years. They were taught principles and mental laws that are now available to us in a fashion that is as basic as gumdrops and newspapers. However, 99.9% of people have yet to discover them. I want to share some of the discoveries from the mystery schools that many people are rediscovering today, as if they were youngsters stumbling onto something they never knew existed. It's like discovering a whole new planet, a revelation that transforms everything. The second law revealed in these institutions was the law of belief. This law is a cornerstone of practically all religions and philosophies. It claims that anything you believe with feeling becomes your reality. If you strongly believe something, your mind attempts to filter and shape your world through these ideas. As Anaz Nin famously observed, we do not see the world as it is, we see it as we are. We even dismiss things that contradict our views and only focus on those that reinforce them. This makes the law of belief immensely powerful. However, here's the tragedy: some people have ideas that aren't based on fact. These beliefs are based on erroneous information, yet they adhere to them passionately. They are life-destroying instead of life-enhancing. I don't judge anyone's views, but the way to evaluate them is simple. Do they make you happy? Do they improve your life and relationships? I'll give you an example. When I had my first child, one of the child psychology books said that the responsibility of a parent was to break the child's will early on. This notion was popular in the early to mid-20th century. Parents were taught that if children were too willful, they wouldn't respond to instructions, so the solution was to break their spirit. Sadly, many of these children grew up to be angry, frustrated, and damaged because their wills were crushed at a young age. This shows how beliefs can shape lives, especially self-limiting beliefs. An important point to note is that no one is born with beliefs. Every belief you hold about yourself, the world, or others had to be taught to you. It was instilled in you through repetition and careful instruction. The worst of these are self-limiting beliefs, which make you think you are limited in some way. The starting point for using the law of belief to your advantage is to ask yourself, what beliefs would be helpful for me to have? Imagine you could go to a belief store and choose one belief to adopt. What would it be? Maybe the belief that you can do anything you set your mind to. A friend of mine spent 18 years studying the biographies of over 500 successful men and women who started with nothing. He found a common denominator. Every single one of them absolutely believed they were destined for success. From a young age, they believed it, and no matter what setbacks they faced in life, they never lost that belief. They saw every challenge as a lesson, every difficulty as part of their process, and they never gave up on their dream of success. If you could adopt one belief, let it be this: you are destined for success. You have incredible potential, surrounded by countless opportunities, and you are on a path to great achievement. Everything that has happened so far is part of your preparation. So, challenge your self-limiting beliefs. Never say, "I can't do that," or "I'm not good enough." Instead, ask, what if that's completely false? What if deep down, I have the ability to be extraordinary? The Bible says, according to your faith, it is done unto you. This principle is foundational in both the Old and New Testaments. It means that your beliefs shape your reality. William James, a famous psychologist, said that beliefs create actual facts. If you believe something, it will eventually become your reality because you will act in accordance with that belief, which leads to results consistent with your actions. While it may not be easy to change old negative beliefs, it is absolutely possible. Is it easy to lose weight? No. But is it possible? Of course. The third law is called the law of expectation. This law suggests that your expectations largely determine the quality of your life. Whatever you expect with confidence becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. You're constantly telling your future by how you talk and think about what's going to happen. If you believe that things will turn out well, they usually do. If you expect to be popular, successful, and accepted, your behavior aligns with that belief, and you're more likely to achieve those things. Therefore, always expect the best from yourself, from others, and especially from those who look up to you. One of the discoveries made at Harvard University is that there are two key qualities that raise healthy, happy children. These two qualities are vital, not just for raising kids, but for leading any successful, fulfilling life. To create happy, healthy, and powerful business and sales teams, the number one key is a democratic environment. A democratic environment is one where everyone is welcome to express their opinions, engage in discussions, debate ideas, receive feedback, and make decisions based on consensus. In this type of environment, every individual feels valued, important, and respected. This is essential for kids too. Since they were little, I've always asked my children for their opinions. Whether it's choosing where to go or what to do, we take turns making decisions. Now, as they've grown, they feel confident that their opinions matter. This helps them in adulthood as they feel that their voices are valued when interacting with others. So, the first principle is fostering a democratic environment. The second key is creating a climate of positive expectations. Parents need to expect the best from their children. I always tell my kids that they will be very successful when they grow up, that they will be popular, do well in school, and achieve greatness. When children grow up surrounded by these positive expectations, they rise to meet them. They may resist or dismiss these affirmations because they're coming from their parents, but unconsciously, it impacts them. I once read a powerful quote from a journalist who shared how his father, though not very talkative, would always say, "Son, I expect you to do something worthwhile with your life." That statement stayed with him, motivating him throughout his life. Telling people, whether it's your children's spouse or team, that you believe in them and expect the best from them can make a huge difference. Even if someone fails, reassuring them that they'll learn from the experience and be more successful next time is a blessing. So, expect the best from others and help them expect the best from themselves too. Now, the fourth law I want to talk about is the law of attraction. This law is gaining a lot of attention today, but it has been around for thousands of years, first written about around 3,000 years before Christ. The law of attraction states that each person is like a living magnet. It works alongside other laws, such as the law of vibration, which tells us that everything in the universe is in vibration, even thoughts. A thought without emotion is merely a static idea, but when a thought is linked with an emotion, it forms an energy field that attracts people, ideas, and resources needed to make that thought into reality. The stronger the emotion, the faster it manifests. However, these laws are neutral. If you focus on bad ideas, you will attract unfavorable experiences. Your mind is tremendously strong, and it sends out vibrations that draw in circumstances and people in accordance with your beliefs. So, avoid concentrating on things you don't desire. If you focus on negativity, you may attract in accidents, frustrations, or failures. But if you focus on positive ideas, you will draw in prosperity, good fortune, and chances. There's also a second law, the law of sympathetic resonance. This law states that if you play a C note on one piano, the matching string on another piano will reverberate in harmony. This is how the appropriate people, events, and opportunities align in our life. Sometimes we meet someone and sense an instant connection. It's like the law of attraction in action. The law of attraction claims that whatever thoughts you focus on, whether positive or negative, put forth energy that attracts events and people in harmony with those thoughts. Thought energy travels at amazing speed, quicker than anything physical. For example, how many times have you been talking about someone only for them to phone you shortly after? You might assume it's simply a coincidence, but when it happens frequently, you understand it's not. It's the law of attraction in action. To make this work for you, focus on what you desire. Think positively and of things that bring you happiness. Visualize success and surround yourself with positive people. There's a notable difference between winners and losers. Winners visualize past successes and recall the joy they felt. Non-winners, on the other hand, focus on past failures and negative experiences. This mindset sets up a powerful energy field that influences their future. So, if you want to attract the right people and opportunities, keep your thoughts focused on your goals and positive outcomes. The law of attraction is neutral, meaning if you focus on negative, anxious, or angry thoughts, you'll attract more of that into your life. It's essential to be aware of this and keep your focus on the positive. The next law is the law of correspondence. This law is one of my favorites because it's a summary of many other laws. It states, as within, so without. In simple terms, the world around you is a reflection of what's going on inside you. Your internal mindset and beliefs shape your external reality. This law reminds us that our thoughts and emotions are powerful in shaping our experiences. It reflects your dominant thoughts back to you. We often say, wherever you look, there you are. It's almost as if you live in a 360-degree mirror, and no matter where you look, you see yourself reflected back. The places where this is most apparent are, first and foremost, your relationships. Human beings are highly sensitive, and negative thoughts about anything can impact your relationships almost instantly. People can pick up on it across a crowded room. By the way, women are particularly adept at this, often more than men. Men can be like blocks of cheese, while women are like high-tech computers. Every male has experienced this. You go in and say, he. And she immediately says, what's wrong? You didn't even say much, but she can sense it quickly. It's almost as if ladies can read you with only a word or a glance. When it comes to relationships, they will immediately mirror your inner thoughts. If you're feeling good, your relationships will reflect that. If you're irritated or angry for some reason, that will show too. Another area this shows up is in income. Your external world, including your financial status, is influenced by your internal attitude toward money, productivity, and performance. Your health also follows this pattern. Your psychological attitude toward fitness, food, and well-being will be mirrored in your physical state. Similarly, if you believe in your own achievement, you will begin to see it manifest in your outer environment. Most individuals look in the mirror, and if they don't like what they see, they try to modify the mirror. But the smart person realizes that what they see in their external world is a reflection of themselves, so they ask the fundamental question, what in me is causing what I see around me? This is the mark of a better mindset. The average person will often blame external factors, whether from the past, present, or future. Now, let's move on to the law of subconscious activity. There's a lot of popular writing on this subject, but the law of subconscious activity basically asserts that your subconscious mind acts automatically. It's like clay taking the impression of your conscious ideas and ensuring that your words and actions correspond with your previous training. The subconscious doesn't think or create. It just keeps things functioning. It also supervises the autonomic nervous system, which regulates the delicate chemical balance in each of the billions of cells in your body on a moment-to-moment basis. They say the subconscious mind sends out 500 million commands every second. It maintains the balance of molecules in every cell in your body to keep everything operating. If you assume humans arose from simple chemical reactions or lightning strikes, a reality check is in order. The complexity of the human system is mind-boggling. If even one tiny aspect of us were off, like our eyes or the blood flow, none of us would survive. Our subconscious mind is like a computer. It's programmed based on the input we give it. This is where the expression, garbage in, garbage out, comes into play. If we put in positive programming, we get positive results. But if the program is wrong, it affects everything. Just like how engineers debug broken software, we need to troubleshoot our thinking. To fulfill our potential and enhance our self-confidence, we must clean out the negative notions, myths, and beliefs that aren't linked with happiness or joy. The fruits of the Spirit are joy and self-control. If you're not experiencing those, it's a hint that your programming needs fixing. Just like you would debug a computer, you should discover and address the negative beliefs that might be blocking you from living your best life. Let me share a small anecdote. There was once a young man who grew up in a privileged family. His father was a Fortune 500 executive, and the youngster had everything: servants, money, luxury. But the father was busy working, and the child was pampered, arrogant, and nasty, especially to the servants. The parent recognized his son hadn't learned to respect hard labor. So, when the boy finished from college, he expected a job immediately away. The father, seeing his mistake in raising a spoiled child, negotiated a job for him with another Fortune 500 company. After 18 months, the boy's manager summoned him in and fired him, citing low performance and incompetence. The youngster was crushed. This was his first job, and he couldn't comprehend what went wrong. The father secured another position, but the same thing happened. After another 18 months, he was sacked again. This cycle happened 4 times. Each time the boy worked hard, but each time he was let go. Eventually, in his late 30s, after several failures, the boy learned the truth. A former boss said that the plan all along had been that he would be hired for 18 months, following which he would be fired. It wasn't because of his work ethic, but because of an agreement with his father. This discovery upset the youngster. At 30, he had a tremendous dispute with his father, promising never to talk to him again. But this event transformed him. He fled his father's influence and obtained a job with another company, worked his way up, and eventually became a top executive. It was only after confronting many failures and realizing the importance his programming had played in his life that he eventually turned things around. At the age of 38, He was still upset and was talking to his spouse about his father and what his father did while he was in his 20s. His wife said, "Honey, have you ever considered that maybe your father loved you so much that he was willing to put you through all of that? He knew you'd end up resenting him, but he did it to shape you into the man you are today." It was like a slap in the face, and suddenly the son realized that, in truth, he was a jerk when he left school. Now, he was a successful, highly respected guy, and it wouldn't have been possible without those experiences. So, at 38, he went to his father, who was in his 60s, and confronted him. "Is this true?" he questioned. His father replied, "Yes, I hated to do it, but I realized I made a mistake in raising you. I had to compensate for it. I had to make you into the person you needed to be, and that could only happen through adversity. I was willing to lose you to save you." They embraced and became the best of friends for the rest of their lives. This is a true story. The key is that he changed from being angry for years to realizing that what had transpired was done out of love, not malice. My buddy Wayne Dyer once observed, "It's never too late to have a happy childhood." Research from the University of Pennsylvania reveals that we experience the world through something called our interpretive style. Your interpretive style is how you interpret things for yourself. If you change how you understand things, your attitude towards everything changes. Now, here's the seventh law, the law of habit. This law states that whatever you regularly do develops a new habit. You can establish emotional habits of confidence, optimism, happiness, joy, and positive expectancy simply by repeating them over and over. I'm going to show you how to do this. The basic line is this: you become what you think about most of the time. It's not about the ephemeral things that run through your mind, but about what you focus on continuously. As Emerson observed, a man is what he thinks about all day long. So the question is, what do you think about most of the time? And the rule is simple: alter your thoughts, and you change your life. There's no other way. This leads to the greatest discovery of the 20th century, the self-concept. I call this the master program. Your self-concept is a collection of all your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, doubts, hopes, fears, and experiences throughout your life. It's what shapes you into the person you are today. The only thing special about you is your mind. Everything else, from humans to animals, is shared. The uniqueness of each person comes from their intellect, which has been fashioned by hundreds of thousands of events. No two people think or respond the same way, making your mind one of a kind. Your performance and effectiveness in life are determined by your self-concept. How you perform and behave, whether as a salesperson, parent, spouse, friend, or professional, is all determined by your internal programming. Your self-concept influences how effective you are in all areas of life. You may have heard that the average individual uses only 10% of their potential. This suggests that 90% of your potential is untapped. Some use even less. Imagine earning 2, 3, or even 5 times more by unleashing more of your potential. According to studies from the Stanford Brain Institute, most people use just around 2% of their potential. We use just enough to get through our daily routine. Getting up, cleaning our teeth, going to work, and watching TV. But let's assume we employ 10% of our potential. If that's the case, your self-concept would also be limited to 10%. Each person also possesses numerous self-concepts, one for every element of life that's important to them. You have a self-concept for every sport you play, for how well you sell, for your attractiveness, your creativity, and even for how much money you earn. What's intriguing is that your self-concept operates like a thermostat for different areas of your life. For example, considering money, you rarely exceed your self-concept's level of income by more than 10%. If you earn more than 10% over your self-concept's level, You'll participate in what I call throwaway behaviors. You might spend money recklessly, going on vacation, buying luxury, or taking everyone to supper. This explains why 68% of lottery winners are broke again within 3 years. Despite having more money than they've ever had, it pulls them so far outside their self-concept that they start to spin out of control. On the other hand, if you earn below your self-concept's level, you engage in scrambling behaviors to bring your income back up. However, when you're within that 10% range, plus or minus, you relax and it becomes your comfort zone. This is your comfort zone.